And welcome back to Bay Sunday. We're here with Petri-Hawkins-Byrd. Petri, before the break, we were just talking about your involvement with the OK program.
Yes.
You're trying to mentor a lot of African-American kids in this community.
Yes.
And throughout the West Coast and this country.
Yes.
Talking about the involvement with police officers as well.
Right.
So what do you hope to see in the future, in the near future?
It is our hope at the OK program that we will be able to bridge the gap between the community and law enforcement, that we will be able to make both sides understand that they're necessary to each other, and that in order to have a well-balanced and a safe community, both parties have to come to the table and have to be able to, share in that common destiny. I was telling somebody earlier that when I was a kid, there was an officer who walked the beat in our neighborhood, Officer Joe.
Right, and you don't see that very often.
You don't see it. Well, now they're in cars, and that car separates them from the community. And the only time it seems that they show up or they step out is when there's an emergency. But I remember that Officer Joe was there for you to talk to, or he might have a lollipop in his pocket, and he'd give you one, and so we thought of him as a friendly figure, as somebody who was there in the community to serve the community and protect the community, which is what most departments claim to do, But you have to be a part of the community, and so what the OK program does is it takes an officer who is assigned full-time to the OK program, and he keeps an eye on the kids, and he involves themselves at their school level, so the principal and the teachers know him. If they're having an issue with an OK kid, they can go to Officer whoever and say, I'm having a problem with Jamal. Can you talk to him? And Jamal's going to listen because, hey, this officer is not only an officer, but he's also a mentor to him, and he's also a friend to him. And that helps to bridge, those chasms that are being created through what people see in social media and what they see online and what they see on TV as being a negative relationship between the community and law enforcement. We just want people to know that the law enforcement officers, the men and women that are law enforcement officers, are human beings. They have families, they have feelings, and they have concerns, and they care about the community. And it also helps when the officer is from your community. When he looks like you and he reflects your values and your culture. And so that's what we're trying to get not only the community to understand, but the law enforcement officials to understand, is that you can better utilize your officers if they're from that community or if they have a tie to that community.
Right. And this program was started 20-something years ago, but right now you see an even more pressing need for that interaction between law enforcement and community groups. Here in San Francisco, we're seeing the tensions rise, as well as nationally. We saw it in St. Louis, as well as New York, or rather Missouri. But tell us, moving forward, what are some practical steps that the program can take to do that?
Well, one, we first talk to, when we're invited into a community who is interested in opening an OK chapter there. One of the first people that we talk to, or amongst the first people we talk to, is we talk to the people in the church and in the community organizations about what it is that they see as being problematic, particularly amongst African American boys. And the reason that we target African American boys is that we as black men understand the plight of African American boys better than anybody. If you have a specific problem, you have to try to involve yourself in using a specific solution. And so we think that the solution to the issues concerning the African American community, and in particular the boys in our African American community, those issues need to be addressed by us because we understand better than anybody what they need and what they're facing. And so as a practical means, that's who we communicate with first. Is we communicate with the people in the community who are the best gauge as to what the problems are. Once we do that, then we try to locate an officer within the police department in that particular city who has a heart for the community and who has a heart for young African American males, who wants to be more than just a police presence, but he also wants to be a part of the community. And once we locate that officer, then we ask that that police department dedicate that officer to the OK program on a full-time basis. That's all he does. But the great part is that the community sees him, trusts him, he knows them, they know him, and they're able to come to the table with other officers, okay, behind the relationship that they have with that officer.
Well, Byrd, we thank you for joining us here on Bay Sunday today. I know you're doing a lot of great work, and we thank you for your involvement with this community and nationwide as well. Byrd, thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
And for more information about the OK program, you can log on to okprogram.org. That's okprogram.org. We'll be back with more Bay Sunday after this break.